is STL-TV in your ward. I'm Hatsephi Kushma. I'm here with Alderman Frank Williamson of the 26th Ward. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Doing fine.
Good, good. How long have you been alderman, and what made you decide to run for office?
Yeah, I got elected in 2003 to the Board of Aldermen. Prior to that, I was the committee man at the 26th Ward. Approximately in 92, 93 is when I got elected, and I've served since then. The alderman prior to me decided not to run again, so the 26th Ward organization came to me and wanted me to run, and I was more than happy to serve.
Do you have roots in this community?
Yes. The roots go back to the early 60s. My mother, my father were also part of the civil rights movement in the 60s, along with Bill Clay and many others, you know, Marie Fowler, Ann Voss, people that lived in the community, Norman Say, and I can remember the days when they were used to protest in order to get equal opportunity jobs throughout the city of St. Louis. So it goes back pretty far, and it was a rich community of the civil rights movement at that time.
So what are the boundaries of your ward?
The boundaries of the 26th Ward, basically, from the western part of the ward is Hodemont, and we go over to the south of Waterman, a little bit of Persian. We go north all the way over to Martin Luther King, and we also, on the eastern boundaries, we go up to Clarendon, and we kind of edge up to Academy, over to Kings Highway, going north towards Sherman Park.
Now, you serve on several committees.
Yes,
What are those committees, and what does that entail?
Oh, you know, it's a great learning process serving on the committees. I've been on several since I've been elected as alderman. I've served on public safety, HUDs, Ways and Means, Streets Committee, Legislation Committee, Health and Human Resource Committee, and I've also served on, well, I'm presently now the chairman of Public Employees Committee. So,
That's quite a bit.
yes, quite a bit, you know, and it really helps you learn how the city system works and what's needed in our community throughout the city by serving on those committees. So it's very educational.
So what legislations are you most proud of?
Well, it's serving on the Public Employees Committee. I just passed some legislation which was called the whistleblowing bill. That entails city employees to get a fair shake or get a fair opportunity if they notice some wrongdoings that are taking place in a work environment, so they have the latitude to report those issues to 4 other entities of city departments. And in doing that, there would not be any retaliation to those employees. So it's a good measure, good protection for us to, you know, keep everything abreast and let the public know that we're doing the right thing with the city of St. Louis, but not scrounging the revenue and doing the wrong things when it comes to city department. So that gives them the right to, hey, something's going on, I can go ahead and report it. I don't have to worry about any backflash coming and being, you know, fired, demoted, you know, those type of retaliations. So I'm very proud of that bill. And we're presently working on a bill that has to do with affirmative action. We haven't gotten that bill out yet, but in this up and coming session, the 2017-2018, we're going to hopefully get that legislation out too through the Public Employees Committee.
So do you find that there are some misconceptions about the role of the alderman in comparison to other elected officials?
Yes, it is. And what you try to do, I do a ward meeting each month, the last Thursday of each month for the 26th Ward. And in that ward meeting, we try to educate our residents exactly what our role is and what we try to do to improve the community. Some of the things that I find that residents feel like when there's trash thrown out their alley and there's litter and they feel like the city should come clean it up. Well, there's a legislation already in place, and if they read the neighborhood guide booklet, it states that a homeowner is responsible for cleaning the property or keeping your resident clean in front of your street, halfway in the middle of the street, and then behind your house, behind the alley, halfway. So that's one of the things that we try to impress people to do, and we want them to get involved of their communities so they'll know what's going on, and we try to keep them abreast of that. But it's many other things that they feel like aldermen, have something to do with, and which we try. And you have your neighborhood stabilization officer that takes care of that problem, and you also have citizen service review that also is supposed to help the residents. And we still do the same thing, but our main job is to legislate, but we also make calls to those departments, to try to solve the problem depending on the issues that they're having.
So what is your mission, your vision for your ward?
Number one is safety, I think, and I think we've done a good job in working with the police and forming block units, which is very, very important that I find as alderman, because solving crime and keeping a safe neighborhood really entails that the residents get involved and they'll be a part of it. My area of the ward is covered by the 5th District Police Department of the City of St. Louis, which is located on Union and Margaretta. So they have their monthly meetings. I think it's the first Tuesday of the month around 6:30, 7 o'clock. So we try to encourage the residents to get involved with the police and with other neighbors so they can have a good watch organization. So that's one of the main things we try to do. And to provide, market rate housing and affordable housing within our community. So those are some of the goals that I've been trying to implement since I've been elected.
What do you find most challenging in the ward?
Well, that's good. It's quite a few issues. One of the things that I think we have a problem with is just the misconception of what an alderman does. And what I try to do is keep everybody abreast of what our job is. But one of the hardest issues that I find in the community is that the vacant buildings are a large problem. Everybody, in the majority of the community, wants a lot of these vacant buildings raised and torn down, which we try to do. The main problem that I have, we only receive $33,000 a year within the 26th ward for demolition. So we can only take out, 4 to maybe 5 buildings per year. But that's some of the issues that I have that I find that is most needed is pretty much getting rid of the vacant buildings throughout the community.
You touched on the crime and crime being a citywide issue. How are you addressing it in terms of even like with the vacant buildings and things? Do you find any of that crosses over?
It does, because what you have is squatters that may live in the building. You have some drug activities that are taking place within those vacant buildings. So we try to encourage the residents to report those problems and to call the police, call Citizen Service Bureau. And then also they'll call me, and what I try to do is call the City of St. Louis Building Division and have those vacant buildings boarded up. So we do that, a pretty good job at that. And then in a lot of cases, what happens, they'll board them up and they'll take the boards off and they'll go back in. So that's one reason why we try to encourage people to be involved, do a neighborhood watch organization, because it takes a while to get rid of some of the vacant buildings within our area.
So I see boarded up, some of the boarders have photos, artwork on them. Who's responsible for that?
Better Family Life, and they've done a great job of that, mainly on Page Avenue, pretty much from Kings Highway, I guess, to the city limits, which would be Skinker. And they've been putting some nice murals up with those vacant buildings and, some of the, people that have been very known and some icons in the city of St. Louis with paintings of them. So very proud of that, and it looks nice.
What makes the 26th ward special?
We're a diverse community, or coming a little bit more diverse. Our population right now, I would say, is probably 95% African American. I would say 5% white Americans, and with a little mixture of other races increase. So, we're in a place, we're kind of a diamond in the rough. We're close to the Central West End, and that helps somewhat. And then we do go north of Martin Luther King. but we're close to everything. Highway 40, we have Forest Park, Wash U. You know, as you know, the trolley is coming through that ward, part of the 26. Mainly, most of the mileage of the run is in the 26th ward. It's just as well as the 28th ward. So I think the property value is increasing and becoming much better. We have excellent organizations. We have People's Clinic that is located on Delmar Developer. We also have the Demetrius Johnson Foundation, which is at 724 North Union, and of course, Better Family Life. So those organizations and those institutions make me very proud, and it makes the people and the residents very proud, and that's what makes 26 Ward special, I think.
What do you think about the trolley coming through?
I think the trolley is exciting. I think it's going to bring in tourists within the city of St. Louis, not so much just downtown. I think it'll give the opportunity to people that visit St. Louis come see another part of St. Louis other than just being downtown. It's going to really generate a lot of people coming in, visiting restaurants, you know, going to Forest Park. There are 2 stops with the trolley that are in between 2 Metrolink stops, which is the Forest Park Developer stop and also the Delmar stop. And I think you're going to have just a richment of people coming in, not only without people coming in from tourists, but just people in the metropolitan area. So as you know, Chuck Berry, who's out of the 26th Ward, he stayed there quite a bit through the 60s and parts of the 70s. And he used to play at the Blueberry Hill, with which is owned by Mr. Edwards, you know, Joe Edwards. So that'll be nice. But I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to bring a lot of attraction within our community.
Now, you mentioned the People's Clinic, and I know that you have been involved a lot with the Prostate Cancer Initiative. Why are you so passionate about that?
Well, you know, I've noticed and had a few friends that had it, you know, that had problems. A friend of mine that passed away from it. So that's one of the reasons I got involved with it, because I know that's something that really affects African American males. And what we try to do is try to educate people on their diet, the proper diet that they eat, and to be proactive and go to the doctor and get those checkups so you can be proactive in, you know, serving yourself, helping yourself stay healthy.
Yes.
Because that affects so many other loved ones. If you pass away, then it affects your whole family, so especially at a young age. So that's one reason I've been very proactive in it. I think they're doing a great job of trying to make people aware, going throughout the neighborhood, passing out flyers and encouraging black men to get a healthy checkup.
So let's talk a little bit about construction.
Okay.
You have some new construction projects going on, something going on in Cates. What's going on?
Yeah, we have some new housing, single dwelling homes that are taking place, that are being built on Case. Vatarock is the developer, and those homes will be approximately running 180 to about 200,000. And this gap funding with those homes, those are affordable houses where it's a buy down. I think that they would have to pay, if it's a $170,000 house, it would cost that person that's buying it $130, because it's $50,000 that would be implemented into the house for gap funding to make it more affordable for residents to come in there. So I'm very proud of that. You know, we have quite a few new homes in the community, so we're trying to rebuild and do the right thing. And it's great to have those new homes there. It really is. And it's going to improve the neighborhood.
Okay, that sounds good. You have any other projects or construction projects going on?
Sure. Affordable housing project that we did, located on Belt and Clemens. It's 42 units, and those are apartments. And I'm very proud of that. Some of the people in the community wasn't too happy to have that project in our community, because there was a lot of misinformation that was being broadcast out throughout the community, which was really falsely stated. And what people have to understand, affordable housing is affordable. These units that these people live in have to have a job. They were kind of, some of the folks thought they would be more or less like low-income homes where you would have women on Section 8 and that they would, cause problems throughout the whole community. But it was just the opposite. Those homes and those units have working people. We have people from Prostate, people that work from Barnes, even school teachers, security guards, so on and so forth. So I'm very proud of that. That was a project that was also with RISE. This is a nonprofit organization, housing development, that we partnered up with, along with a firm called Efficiency Consulting, LLC, which is Gafford Alderman, who is the CEO. So very proud of that project, and it's doing very well. Have strict rules of no hanging out in the front, keeping your property clean. Management is key when it comes to certain projects, but I'm very proud of that. We've had a school that was vacant for a long time, the Enright Middle School, which is close to Soldan. That's been totally renovated. That's kind of a market rate apartment building that was also done by the Robert brothers, and they have sold it to another lady by the name of Amy Levin, and they're beautiful units too. We're very proud of that. And we also have Clark School, which is a public elementary school that is vacant, located on Union. And Ms. Levins is, in the process now of renovating that and making it market rate apartments. So we've been, on the move with the 26th Ward, trying to bring stability in our community when it comes to housing. That's very important.
I would like to ask you, what do you like most about your job?
And again, thank you for those compliments. I appreciate that, and glad to be here. Helping people, I think, is most important. That's what makes me feel good about the job, because it's not about the pay, that's for sure. But I feel good in helping our people in the community. What we try to do each year, we do a back-to-school function that we do in Avon Prairie Park, where we try to give out school supplies through, the community, and keep the parents involved in their children's education. We try to state that with some of the, people that we have partnering with. Also, we do a caring and sharing event in December, close to Christmas, where we also try to give back to the community, where we give out toys to a lot of the residents, kids in the community, and we also have partnered with other organizations that come in and try to make people aware of their health issues and education and those type of things. We also partner with Toys for Tots during that event. So I think it's a good feeling when you can kind of uplift people that really need it and just educate people on some of the things that can help themselves and try to point them in the right direction if you can't do it yourself. So just helping people throughout the community, that's what I'm most proud of, and it's been very rewarding.
So I think you're really doing great things over in the 26th Ward. And we're going to go and take a look at your ward and walk around so that you can point out some of these great things that you're talking about today.
These are some of the single dwelling homes that we're building in 26th Ward. That's also been built by Vital Rock and a minority construction company, BAM. These homes are worth approximately $170,000, $180,000, with a $30,000 gap funding for the residents who buy them. We already have one home that's already sold, and they're building 3 other homes on this block, and have 2 that are already been sold, finished projects. So we're very proud of that in 26th Ward, and we're bringing the community back and stabilizing our community.
We had a chance to talk with developer Amy Levin about why she chose the 26th Ward.
When we first came to this ward, we were attracted by the diversity of the neighborhood, and some of the architecture in this area is absolutely beautiful. We bought about 7 buildings right at Union and Delmar to begin with, and different kinds of buildings. And we kind of did a very mild renovation, changed the tenant mix, so we have almost no criminal issues at all. Everybody's been criminal checked, and We have every kind of person here. We have doctors, we have janitors, and everybody lives together pretty harmoniously, young and old, very pet friendly, and we built kind of a community.
This is the 5600 block of Cabaney. This development is called Maple Acres. These are also affordable homes, single dwelling homes, 3 bedrooms, detached garage. We've had residents move in this particular block during the early 90s, and we're very proud of it. And there are also across the street, as you can see, there's empty lots, and we will be building some new affordable homes across the street from here. So it's a very, very nice neighborhood. And anyone that's really interested in living in the city of St. Louis, you ought to come visit 26th Ward.
Resident Mary Brown is happy with her neighborhood in the 26th Ward.
Over here, it's nice. The people are friendly. My neighbors in particular, I can say they look out for you. I recall when I was in the hospital, and when Jody found, I sent Jody an email on my laptop after he brought it to the hospital for me that I was in the hospital. She called me, and she said, well, since you're there, Mary, she said she would tell Barbara on the end, Marilyn behind me, and Rose across the street, and they would watch out for the house. And I know one night in particular, on Sunday night, the police came to our house about 10 o'clock at night. We were in the bed, and Eddie went down and answered the door, and he talked to him, came back up, and I said, what's going on? He said somebody had seen somebody in the backyard and called the police. And the next morning when I was leaving, I was going to the store, and I saw Barbara coming out her house. And I knew Barbara was the one. I said, Barbara, I said, the police came in last night. She said, Mary, I was out. I heard the dogs bark. I looked out, and I saw someone in the backyard, so I called the police. And that gives you an example. They kind of watch out for you. You let them know you're not here.
You have quite a few parks.
Yeah, we have 9 parks in the 26th Ward, so we got quite a few parks, and several of them are pretty small parks. We have the Sherman Park, Ivan Perry Park, Russell Park, Gwen Giles Park, Parkland Park, Greg Freeman Park. So, you know, we got quite a few parks. One of the most proud things out of the Ruth Porter Mall Park that I'm very proud to. That was a $6.9 million project, and that pretty much runs from Delmore to Essel. It's a 9-block linear park, and it's been totally renovated. When I first got elected, the nickname was Jurassic Park because it was a very dangerous park, and there was a lot of drug activities taking place within that park. Some people have been robbed and shot and so on and so forth. So we were very glad to partner up with St. Vincent Greenway to have that park renovated, and that's been great. This is a community building with the village on Delmore Place. We really had this building put in my mother's name, which you can see the plaque here. She was an educator with the St. Louis Board of Education. She was a principal and a teacher with them. So, you know, my brothers and sisters are very proud of it. And I was, you know, very, very lucky and very blessed to be able to have it put in her name. So we're very proud of that.
Now see, that's a jewel.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been In Your Ward with Alderman Frank Williamson.